10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Growing bolder, what's next? With Marc and Bill.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to What's Next. I am Marc. Bill will join us in a moment. But first, if I may, a very brief explanation and a bit of a disclaimer. 2 days ago, in a Zoom staff meeting, we were having a little brainstorming session talking about what's next, because that's what we're always thinking about. And somebody said, how about if What's Next is a show that's called What's Next? And then somebody said, yeah. And unlike our pre-taped national television show, this one should be live on the internet. And then I said, yeah, and it should start on Friday. And after some silence, somebody said, you mean this Friday? And I said, yeah, this Friday. So here we are now, and a bit of the disclaimer, if you will. 24 hours ago, this show didn't have a name. We didn't have a rundown. We didn't know what we were going to do. We figured out about 10 minutes ago that half of what we were going to do is not possible. So this is what we do. This is what Growing Bolder is. It's about taking chances. It's about getting started, moving forward, and then iterating as we go along. That cool little open that you just saw wasn't even in anybody's mind 24 hours ago. In fact, Mikey, can we see it again?
Growing bolder, what's next? With Marc and Bill.
That was a spontaneous collaboration between three people on our staff, Mark Sunderland, Mike Nannis, and Ashley Heafy. They put it together. In fact, I've got a photo of the Zoom meeting that we had, and Mike and Mark and Ashley are somewhere in there when we came up with this idea. In fact, I mentioned Mikey, and Mikey doesn't know I'm going to do this, so let's see how it works out. But Mike is at his home, and he's directing this show. So Mikey, punch yourself up, push the button and see if you can come up. Let's see if all right. So there's Mike Nannis. So we had some problems about 10 minutes ago. We lost a lot of content. How are we going to do it?
Yes, we did. We do what we do best, and we just roll with the punches. So we'll see what happens.
And no matter what happens, thanks for being with us. And we should also note that we are under a tornado warning here in Central Florida. So if you lose us all of a sudden, that's what happened. And we'll see you back here next Friday morning at 10 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time. Speaking of this show, what's next? What next is about you folks out there. So if you think that you can bring something to the party, who knows? We'd love to punch you up just like we did Mike Nannis and have you participate and contribute. So drop something in a comment below. Let us know, what you think that you might be able to bring to the party. All right, coming up today, let's show you a little bit of what we're going to try to do, what we were able to salvage. Dr. Jim Smith, you're going to dig this guy. He's going to come up and tell us what kind of mindset we need right now. Dan Buettner is going to talk to us about active longevity secrets. Bill Shafer's got a lot that he wants to talk about, but one of his things is going to be taking care of Mother Earth, and we're going to talk about the importance of bringing the world together right now. One of the interesting and I think sweet and creative things that's happening right now is that the kids are home from school and mom and dad are home from work, and that results in some pretty interesting DIY projects. And one that caught my mind this week is this one. Kudos to this dad who came up with a box slide for his kids. Somehow he taped together a bunch of cardboard boxes and his kids were off and sliding for the rest of the day. Jill showed this to me, and when she showed it to me, she said, Mark, this is exactly what you would have done years ago. And it kind of saddened me a bit because she was right. I would have done it. In fact, it made me think back when Kelsey and Quinn were probably 6 and 7, so 22, 23 years ago. It was in the summer. And they were bored with one of their summer chores, walking the dog. And they were also envious of a friend of theirs who had a ski boat. And I heard about both all the time. Don't want to walk the dog. I want to go skiing. So I invented and created the world's first dog harness for tandem rollerblading. And just like that, problem was solved. Casey got to walk all that he wanted, and the girls, as you could see, could not have been any happier than they were. So let's get back to the challenge at hand. How do we move forward? How do we figure out what's next for us? Well, I know two things for sure about that. Number one, it all begins with mindset. What the mind believes, the body embraces. You've heard me say that before. And number two, there is nobody I know anywhere on the face of this planet that is better at helping us get the right mindset than this guy. Dr. Jim Smith Jr., who is joining us now live from his office in Philadelphia. His resume is long. And when we used to introduce him in the past, I always said, he's a world-renowned speaker. He's a corporate advisor. He's a consultant to, heads of state. Now I just say he's an agent of personal transformation. Are you okay with that, Doc?
I'm good. Thank you for the introduction.
So how are you doing? How are things in Philly these days?
Well, things in Philly were okay, but I just heard a song that's going to be in my head all day. Growing bolder, what's next? Regardless of what's happening in my life, I got that song in my head, so things are spectacular.
We didn't bring you on here to sing, Jim. I'm sorry to tell you that. Jim is a regular contributor, collaborator to Growing Bolder. We couldn't be happier about that. So personally, Jim, you've got to practice what you preach these days, because all of a sudden you can't travel. You can't speak to sold out summits anymore. You can't go advise corporate clients. You were in Singapore recently. How are you adjusting? But really, selfishly, how should we adjust? What do you tell us to do?
Well, I love the video you showed of you and your daughters with the dog and the slide. That's the mindset where we take a look at what we have. We don't focus on what we don't have, and then we create magic. It's a constant mindset adjustment. Mark, today is my birthday. I am 59 years young. And on my birthday, every year, I always reflect on where I've been, and I contemplate where I'm going, and I focus on where I am. So this morning I was thinking about, believe it or not, it had to be in the mid 80s. I was married at the time, and my wife and I ran into some financial challenges where we needed more money. We both had jobs, 9 to 5s, but we needed more money. Well, I decided to take on a second job. And that second job was going to be at night. I took on a job with UPS. And my hours were from 11 p.m. to 5 a.m. So every day I would do my 9 to 5, come home, sleep, have dinner, sleep again, and go work. And my job entailed loading trucks, boxes, loading trucks for 6+ hours. And I did it beginning, I believe I started in May. It's funny, Mark, even one of those months, I was awarded Employee of the Month. My mindset was, I have 2 jobs, go to work, lift. I wore one of those belts, wore my hat on backwards. They called me college boy. December rolled around and we achieved the goal. We had enough money. I took a day off. No 2 jobs. Regular 9 to 5. The next day I went in. The truck seemed hotter. It was cold outside. It seemed colder. The truck even started to smell. The guys around me got on my nerves that night. And Mark, I quit. My mindset has shifted. I attained my goal. I achieved the money. And now my mindset was different and I didn't want that anymore. Well, my mindset changed. When our mindset is focusing on the outcome, we target it and we obtain it. When our mindset is on all the extra stuff, that's what we focus on, the extra stuff, and we don't obtain our goal. So that's the way I look at it. What you focus on grows. Energy and action follows thought. Zoom in, take in, and take it up.
Great words of wisdom from Dr. Jim Smith Jr. I didn't know it was your birthday. I would not have asked you to play with us on your birthday, so we're
That's
grateful.
great. Who doesn't want to play on their birthday, Mark?
And I guess these days the definition of play changes, but it is always play with you, even when it's serious work. And that's what I love about you, Dr. Jim. Thank you so much for your time. And stick around, because if you would, I'd like to have you come back at the very end and give us one final thought, because I know there's always one final thought from the great Dr. Jim Smith Jr.
Absolutely.
All right. That's great. Thanks very much. Let's bring in Billy Shafer now, because Bill is at his home. Bill, how are you doing today?
Baking a cake for Dr. Jim. I ruined the surprise.
It is interesting how much this has impacted everybody's lives, and how we're all trying to deal with it. And, so how are you doing, Bill? I have to tell you, I'm a little bit jealous of you for many reasons. Your good looks, your athletic ability, your incredible broadcast voice. I could go on, but I'm jealous because Evan's at home. Your son, Evan, is living with you right now. Are you enjoying that? Do you think that's good?
Yeah, isn't it great that the family is together? We were laughing about this earlier. There's two kinds of families. One where the family's together and all of a sudden they're at each other's throats, and the other kind where somebody's living alone in a house or an apartment or something, wishing that they had some kind of company. But, early on, Mark, how I didn't really change my mindset at all. We were just working from home, trying to accomplish all of our goals. And I think it was my wife that came up to me and said, "You're missing out. You're missing the whole point of this. When in life have we ever had an opportunity like this to call a time out, to think about things, to reconnect with our families, to take a chance to breathe?" And it started making me realize that, yeah, all of us have things to be grateful for, to appreciate. We get on that treadmill of life and we just go, and hopefully this has given me given all of us a reason to stop and think a little bit.
It's a great point. And if I may, I mentioned my daughters earlier, and I've not shared this with anybody other than Bill and a couple of our friends at work. I have two daughters. They're now in their late 20s, and Quinn is in Colorado, and she has been struggling for 30 days now with the virus. She's been to the hospital twice. She's been admitted once. Thankfully, she's at home now. She's in bed. She's still weak, but it is a freaky thing. And it's the first time, and I know all of you parents will get this. And this is why I was envious of Bill and others who have their adult children with them. It's the first time in my life that I've ever realized that one of my children could be sick, could be in danger, and I wouldn't have the ability to get to them and be with them. And in fact, Quinn allowed me to show a photo, so I want to share that. Quinn is on the left. That was the first time she went to the hospital. Again, she's home now. She's doing well, so everything is looking good. Kelsey is on the right. Kelsey, of all places, lives in New York City, in the epicenter of the global pandemic. So this is my world right now, operating from here, but thinking about New York City and thinking about Boulder, Colorado. And so, folks, if you've got your family, if you've got your kids with you, be grateful that you do, because it's tough when you don't. So, Billy, yeah, we're hanging in. We're doing all we can.
It's weird too, Mark, because on the other end of the spectrum, my dad, as you know, is 93 and still living at home until he started feeling, a pain in his leg. They put him in the hospital and said, "You have pneumonia." They put him right in the COVID ward, which terrified all of us. Sure. Because if he didn't have it, that's where you go to get it. And the worst part of the whole thing, and I'm guessing it was this way with Quinn, you can't visit. My 92-year-old mom couldn't go see him. It was hard to communicate with them. The doctors are busy. You get 2.5 minutes on the phone. You don't even know what they told you. And it's for people who have been affected by the disease other than being at home. This has been so weird. We don't know what the core. If you have kidney disease, if you have a heart condition, the doctors tell you exactly what's coming, what to watch for. With this, you don't know. Or are you going to get worse? How long is it going to take to get better? So I don't know, as a father, how you've been able to keep that out of your mind, or at least enough to shoulder forward, and keep your eye on the ball at work, and just continue to take care of your wife and move forward. It's been difficult.
Well, thank you for that. And as you know, as we all know, the greatest tool right now is what we're doing here. I haven't been able to be there, but I've been with her in this way every single day. So thank God for technology. But there really is no question, folks, that it is family, it's friends, it's communities that are keeping us going forward. Jill and I walk almost every night in our community. I've never done that before, but we take a walk, and I'm amazed at how many people are walking, and everybody gives one another plenty of room. You've got your breadth there, but everybody waves, everybody says hello, everybody yells something. I have to think, Bill, there's probably more engagement in my community now than there was before this.
And that is happening everywhere, not just in our state, but in our country, but all over the world. Let's take a look at some video from one neighborhood. And man, look at this. This is not like one house full of people. They all, what did they do, Mark? They all dressed up and they went out and they started singing ABBA songs.
Yeah, Mamma Mia. This is happening all over the world. This is video from the southwest of Ireland, and yeah, they got dressed up. They blare the music in the street, and everybody in the neighborhood comes out, including those that are in wheelchairs and on walkers. And what a way to lift your spirits. And again, I think this is a far more dramatic example than my neighborhood, but probably this community, this neighborhood, this street is interacting and engaging more now than they ever did.
Hey, look, we all need to be there for each other, even if it's something totally goofy like this. And I'm sure half the neighbors that weren't out there singing were probably closing their windows going, when is it going to stop? But hey, they're getting together. It's something to talk about, and something that, can you imagine singing ABBA, your neighbors? Oh, shut up already. But yeah, but they're dressed up. They're having a blast. They're together, even though they're apart. And that's what community is, Mark. That's what neighborhood is. And makes you feel like you belong.
Another example of community is Earth Day. And I think, as we all know, this was the 50th anniversary of Earth Day, which started back in 1970. In 1969, a year before that, there was a young artist by the name of Myra, who was hand-selected by the great visionary architect inventor by the name of Buckminster Fuller. And he handpicked her to be part of an elite team, 26 people, artists, scientists, financial people, big thinkers, all with the idea of trying to create sustainability on this planet. And this is Myra today, working in her studio. She is now in her mid-80s. She continues to work every day, and she makes gorgeous artwork. And the purpose of everything she does is to try to help share both the beauty and the fragility of our planet. And Myra tells us she is still optimistic. She thinks we can make it work, but we got to do it now.
We are on a timeline here, and if we don't get going, it's not going to be a good thing. So we have no choice anymore but to get going on it, make it happen. Human beings are amazing. We have the capacity to make things right, and we still can do it, but we can't waste time anymore. The time is now.
The time is now, if not now, when. And Bill, as you know, Myra is going to be featured in the new issue of Growing Bolder magazine that will be out next month. Growing Bolder magazine, folks, this is a very slick and unique publication. Not only is it chock filled with interesting, inspirational, educational articles. Take a look at that. It is a big, fat, thick, high quality magazine. And I mention that to you because it's not always been a big, fat, high quality magazine. It's always been high quality. Let me correct myself there. It's always been filled with great stuff, but it just hasn't been as big and robust. And Bill, I'm holding up one of our former magazines, and it's from, it's at least 10 years ago. So here's the question. Who do you think was on the cover of this magazine 10 years ago?
10 years ago, would have to be somebody interesting, somebody compelling, somebody making a difference, an ordinary person who's lived an extraordinary life. It's, oh man. Folks, you know who that is? Roger McGuinn of the Byrds, Mr. Tambourine Man, turn, turn, turn. He's an amazing guy, and he's a great friend of Mark's and Growing Bolder. And, you know, he talks a lot about how things like Earth Day shouldn't be controversial. It's not really political. It's whatever it means to you. Feed the birds, pick up the trash, get up and hike. And can one person make a difference? And yeah, you can, whether you're a school kid, a grandfather, or even a rock and roll Hall of Famer like this guy.
Hi, I'm Roger McGuinn, a founding member of the Byrds. Over the years, people have inspired me to go greener, and that's why I built a solar-powered ice maker. I bought a solar-powered electric scooter. We finally added solar panels to the roof, and now we run all the important things in the house with the help of the sun, and we even sell energy back to the power company. You don't have to go that far. Small things can make a difference, like taking a green bag to the grocery store, reuse and recycle, hang your clothes out to dry in the fresh air, use the backside of a royalty statement for printing, and remember, a small pebble tossed into a pond can make a long-lasting ripple.
Don't you love that? A pebble tossed into a pond can make a long-lasting ripple. So where can you, isn't that incredible? Roger's an amazing guy, and we have a number of stories, his slice of life, the way he looks at things, the experiences he's had, but he's one of hundreds, one of thousands of people who have explained how they have grown bolder in their lives. Mark was talking about the magazine. Where do you get the magazine? Where do you find these video stories? I'm telling you, go to growingbolder.com. Check it out. You'll be able to order the magazine there, but you'll have hours of fun, literally, looking through the videos, the articles, the interviews, the radio programs, the things that make you feel like you can do anything in your own life. That's the whole point of Growing Bolder, lighting the spark inside you to be the best you, to make the biggest difference you can. And folks, the best way to get started, the way to get launched in your own personal journey is go to growingbolder.com. There's no place like it where you can see what other people are doing and see perhaps what's out there for you.
All right, Mr. Bill, we're going to talk about the guy who's the founder of the Blue Zones. Yeah,
it's time for that already, huh?
Well, it is time for that. You know, I honestly thought that the first mistake in the show was going to be made by Mikey or me. I didn't think it would be you. But this is the fun of doing this kind of stuff. We just make it up as we go along. But yeah, let's talk about Dan Buettner.
All right, so look, I get a second chance at that, right? Well,
yeah, as many as you need.
In life, you don't get second chances. You get one chance. You get one life. So what you have to do is find ways to make it the best you can, right? The longest you can, right? But nobody wants to live a long time unless they're healthy, unless they're vibrant, unless they're themselves. Does it matter where you live? Does that have an effect on how long and how well you live? Well, yes, it does. Dan Buettner says it does. Have you ever heard of Dan Buettner? Amazing guy. He's an Emmy winner. He's in the Guinness Book of World Records. He's a New York Times best-selling author, and he's checking in with us from Miami Beach with how you can live longer and live better. Go, Dan.
Over the last 20 years, I've identified and traveled to 5 parts of the world where people live the longest. They're called Blue Zones, and these are places where people are reaching age 100 at the highest rates. They're avoiding the chronic diseases that are killing us, and they're living quality life. And one of the big secrets they're teaching us is the importance of living with a purpose. And when I say purpose in terms of Blue Zone, I don't mean just going and playing golf or pursuing some hobby. In Blue Zones, they use words like ikigai or plan de vida, and it's sort of a hybrid between not only living out your passion, but also a sense of responsibility. It's doing things with your life that not only fulfill your values and fulfill your passions, but also give back, either helping the younger generations, helping the community, or somehow making life better for people around you. So The big takeaways from Blue Zones: know your sense of purpose, eat mostly a plant-based diet with beans, and number 3, set up your surroundings so it's easy to be healthy and live to be 100.
Thank you, Dan Buettner. The power of purpose. It truly is what gets us up each and every morning. But, you know, folks, at some point, every day, you have to find a way to exercise. And that is critically important right now. So at the risk of embarrassing myself, or, you know, probably with the certainty of embarrassing myself, here's what I do, among other things, every day. I've got these 1-pound bean bags, and every single day, I force myself to juggle them at least 250 times. If I drop them, which I will, and I do, then I just start over. But at the end of this, which takes about 5 minutes, I have lifted 250 pounds in 1-pound increments, and I feel pretty darn good about it. The point of all this is, you know, there's a lot of different ways to stay moving, and you got to do it because it's stat time now here on What's Next. And here's the stat. 35% of all U.S. adults don't exercise at all. 17% of men and 15% of women over 65 don't get nearly enough exercise. And the result is chronic illness, the epidemic of our time. So you got to get out there and you got to move. So what happens if you do move? What can be the result? Take a look at this.
We're going to be cheering you on!
Here's a little inspiration. These 4 swimmers from Jacksonville are all in their 90s, and they're about to break 3 world records. But don't get the idea that they're genetically blessed supermen. They're just 95-year-olds who have refused to let life keep them on the couch. What kind of health issues are they overcoming?
I have peripheral neuropathy in my legs, so I get cramps.
But I've had heart bypass.
Macular degeneration, which keeps me from being able to see.
Rotacuff operation.
I ruptured the tendon. I fell down the steps.
I've had heart repair besides my bypass.
I'm suffering from temporal arteritis right now.
I got a pacemaker.
Aortic valve transplant.
I've had a hip replaced. I've had a knee replaced. There isn't anything left really for them to work on.
And Ann Call, in her early 90s, loves to run, but she invented a pool workout so she and her friends could stay active even during the hottest Florida summers. Ann never misses a regular checkup. She takes no prescription drugs, and her total health care costs for the past 2 years are zero. She credits it all to staying active.
Because that is my mission for the rest of my life, is to help people understand that they don't have to be sick, and that they don't have to be dull, and they don't have to be in a nursing home. Don't have to. You don't have to. Make it quality for as long as you live.
Speaking of nonagenarians, those in their 90s, Queen Elizabeth II turned 94 this week. This is a woman that just keeps on keeping on. And she says, when life seems hard, the courageous do not lie down and accept defeat. Instead, they are all the more determined to struggle for a better future. And that is exactly the situation, the case that we find ourselves in. I think we need to get her, Bill, a Growing Bolder t-shirt, although I doubt that she would wear it. But here's an idea. We'll download a photo of Queen Elizabeth from Getty Images, and we'll get Ashley Heafy to put it on her. So that's what's next.
And you may be wondering where you can get a Growing Bolder t-shirt. Again, it's at growingbolder.com right there. I hope you're enjoying the show. What's next? You know, Mark, every time I see those people that you interview, the swimmers and Call, it's like, you know, you think when you hear about somebody who's 90 or 100, you think, well, they're just lucky. You know, they don't have the aches and pains that other people do. But man, those people have every reason to say, I'm done. I'm going to sit in the chair and watch Matlock and just wait till the end. But they don't stop, even when they have challenges and obstacles. And that's the big takeaway for me. It's like, man, I want to make every excuse in the world why I can't ride the bike today because my knee hurts or my back is sore. I'm a little tired. And man, it changes your perspective on everything.
Amen. It's the power of inspiration, the power of a relatable example. And, we want to show you one more video because it came from one of our colleagues, Jacob Langston, whose sister-in-law is a teacher. And, teachers are very creative these days. They're using, video to stay informed with their classes. And Mrs. Langston has this deal where it's called Ask Mrs. Langston a Question, or I think maybe it's What's Mrs. Langston Up To? And this young man asked Mrs. Langston how many musical instrument she could play. And this is her answer. She didn't answer it in words. She answered it by playing. And Bill, I think as this goes on, we'll see that she can play a whole lot of them.
It's the same theme as we've been talking about. It doesn't matter how good you are. It doesn't matter how old you are. Live life, participate. Here's one of my favorite rants, Mark, and it's about music. You know how people will talk all day long about their favorite rock stars, their favorite bands, their favorite songs. And when it comes to music, that's kind of it. Music is not a spectator sport. Sing in the shower. Pick up an instrument and pluck along while you're doing nothing. It's great for your brain. It's great for your soul. May not be great for the people around that are listening, at least not at first. But man, it's fun when you tap into that part of you, that intrinsic part of you that isn't afraid to try. You talk about this all the time, Mark, and it's one of my favorite points that you make. Don't be afraid not to be great at something, because it's not how good you get. It's the journey, the joy of discovery that makes all the difference.
We took a big chance today, and I've thoroughly enjoyed the feeling that this could go off the rails at any moment. Let's bring back in the birthday man, if we can. Jim Smith Jr. has turned 59 years old today. Jim, are you going to have a fun time with your family?
Absolutely. Absolutely. We're going to look for something creative, a creative way to celebrate.
So give us a parting word. What can we do today? What can we do in terms of changing our mindset to get us out there going?
I'll give you two quick ones. One, in order to be great, you must first be grateful. So to be great, you have to be grateful. So what are you grateful for? Again, focusing on what you have, not on what you don't have. And second is a quote by Nelson Mandela. Mr. Mandela said, "It always seems impossible until it's done." It always seems impossible until it's done. So take a look around you. Things that are close, things that are far, things that are near and dear, and decide, what can I do, or what could I do that I haven't already done? What could I do that I haven't already done? And see the magic that you create. Absolutely.
Amen. Thank you, Jim Smith Jr. Mikey, let's put up a 4-shot. Can you do that? Can you put up a 4-shot? You being the fourth person. There we go. Is there another way to do that, or does it have to be me on the big one? Let's put you on the big one. There we go. That's the one that I would. Now, just imagine, folks, that because Mike is, when we started this show, we didn't envision him as a regular part. He may become. But just imagine yourself in the square, in the Mike Nannis box. If you think you can bring something to the party, leave us a note down there, because we just send you a link, and all of a sudden you're on this show. We could make that happen. All right, Mike, thank you so much. Billy, what are you going to say?
Did you see all the cool people that are here? We were so glad for everybody who tuned in for our very first attempt at this. Donna Dowlis is here. Leslie Tyler. Akeem Bivens is in the house today, which is fantastic. And Laurie Hall is here. Sharon Tanner. It's Sherry Bynes. Mark, so I'm thinking that people have tuned in out of curiosity. What was your feeling? You think we're going to do this again?
Yeah, we definitely will. And thank you, folks. And, I don't want to talk business any more than we have to, but, it's an amazing resource being able to, take some bandwidth and stream live to people out there. It's a new world. This is why Growing Bolder got started. All of a sudden, the gatekeepers were gone. You wanted to create content. You wanted to deliver a message. And folks, we got a message. This is a great way to do it. So what's next for us? Another one of these shows next Friday. So, Billy, it's been great. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And if you guys want to know what's next, it'll be here Friday next week.
Grow